How you going, Henry? What's up, fellas? No, do I remember how to do this? Oh, here we go. Naughty Gang Gang. Miguel, thank you, man. I know, I haven't done one of these for a while. The only reason I'm doing this, the only reason I got the idea was because I'm not feeling all that well right now. I've got a bit of a cold, whatever the hell is going on. I don't know. So I didn't really want to mess around with the editing and whatever. And I called in sick actually for work today. Sore throat, headache, fever last night, all that kind of stuff. Supposed to be at work right now, actually, halfway through the shift. So yeah, anyway, this is easier for me. No editing, no requirements of, as soon as I finish this live, it goes and takes care of itself and it's good. And I thought, I wanted to come out here and just stretch. And I thought, why don't I stretch with you fellas, chatting with you fellas. Oh, sorry to hear, Henry. Yeah, like in ED, man, right now, we're falling like flies, man. Like, I think I can think of 5 people right now who are off sick with COVID. I don't have COVID, I tested last night. Just finished my shift last night at 9:30 p.m. and got home and sore throat, headache. I started getting a little bit cold. And then middle of the night I woke up and I was like, oh shit, he's got me. And so here we are. Yeah, stretch and chat. That's it, man. That is it. Here, maybe I can show you what I'm doing. It's nothing really fancy. I'm just starting off like this. I'm not a big stretcher as it is, but on days like this when I can't freaking, do anything meaningful with weight, might as well just stretch. Yeah, like Tim, I'm not crook, but like I'm not feeling the strongest. It's just a sore throat. I actually thought last night I had tonsillitis. It was kind of, they blew up a little bit, couldn't really swallow all that well. But they've calmed down since last night. I haven't taken anything. I haven't taken Brufen or Panadol or anything, so. But yeah. 50, this is the thing, man, like there's 50 people on the thing right now. I remember last time I did live, I got this feeling like, man, you guys are actually real. Like, this real people, man. 50 of you guys. Jesus Christ, man. Sometimes I forget that I actually have a following. Like when I'm sitting there and I'm doing this without you guys watching me, like literally it's the same setup. Instead of having the phone on this little thing, I literally sit here and on the bench and I just talk to no one. And I just let it rip and I just pretend like nobody's there and that's it. But now, like you guys, I know people are there because you guys are talking to me. It's like weird. Simon, how you going, man? Jaden, Bert, Tim, Carlos. Oh man, so many of you fellas. Yvonne, I'm you from the future. Hey Tom, how you going, man? I don't know why I don't do. I don't know why I don't do this more often, to be honest. Nidal, what's up, man? Yeah, I don't know why I don't do this more often because it's actually quite fun, man. Like, I don't know. I legit feel like I can talk to everyone. Ugh. Now, a bit of a hip internal rotation. I'm stiff as it is from that little bit of a cold thing that I've got going on. Stretching feels good. The family's good, man. For the first time, I didn't actually get sick from the kids. Wife and kids are good. Everyone's good. I think I picked it up from work, man. Like I mentioned earlier, like there's all these guys at work who are getting sick. When I called in sick this morning, man, I actually felt bad because they're short. Like I was supposed to be, I think, coordinator today in ED. And the colleague that I spoke to, she's like, oh, please, no, like, what am I gonna do? So I reckon my manager, he's gonna have to come out of the office and he's probably working right now, a 12-hour shift, poor guy. I don't like calling in sick, man, but when I feel like this, I always say to myself, would I want somebody like me looking after a relative of mine that has cancer? Like, do I want to be sick around somebody that's sick, right? Somebody that's immunosuppressed or whatever, or on chemotherapy. That's my usual last thought, and that's how I convince myself to call in sick. Like, it's not about being tough or strong or all that stuff. It's about providing the right service for the people. And if I'm infectious to somebody, I don't want to go there. And that's basically it. Like I'm definitely infectious. Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's it, man. It's kind of like I'm chilling with you guys in the gym. It really is. It's pretty nice, man. Because usually when I do these videos, man, like, I don't know, man, like just, 100,000 people, subscribers, like, oh, that is nice. And don't get me wrong, man, but I don't feel like you guys are real. It's a weird way, man. Like people come up to me like, Ivan, you're famous. That's not fame, man. Like fame for me is like, sports stars or whatever. People that actually perform in front of people. Like I just make videos. People don't usually see me in the sense that when I'm talking to people, it's just like I can't see you, right? And it doesn't take a big performance by me. Like if there was 60 of you guys right now in the room and I was giving a seminar or whatever the hell you want to call it, I'd be probably nervous, man, right? But like this, it's weird, man. Technology kind of makes it weird. And this is why a lot of these keyboard warriors, man, they'll say anything and anything to you. But in real life, if you saw them, they wouldn't say 2 words, right? And it's the same type of material of thinking, It's like, I make videos and I feel like you guys don't even exist. And the keyboard warriors tell me shit like I don't even exist. What did Mike Tyson say? Mike Tyson has a really good line. What was it? Social media makes you guys, what do you say? Social media makes people say whatever they want without the fear of getting punched in the face. Something along those lines. It's so true, man. It's so freaking true. Carlos, yeah, I have. You recognize in public. I have. Probably at work in ED, I've had probably maybe like 10 occasions where somebody's recognized me. I think the coolest one was, I've said this story before, it was kind of really weird. I was working at triage and I had somebody I had to kind of discharge from the waiting room, we were busy or whatever, and I had to get the pharmacist involved. And I called the pharmacist for ED, and it was kind of after hours, they were not there. So I ended up calling the pharmacist, so like a different kind of a pharmacist that doesn't usually take care of us. I called him up and I'm like, hey man, Ivan from triage, I'm just trying to sort out so-and-so, can you help me out? I need some meds, they're probably locked up, blah, 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 all this sort of stuff. And he was like, yeah, no worries, I'll bring him down. And I was like, sick, no worries, man. And then he calls me back and he was like, we had another conversation on the phone and he's like, is that Ivan? I'm like, yeah, man. He's like, dude, I watch your videos. I was like, what do you mean? Like, because when I'm at work, man, I don't think about this. Like, this is doesn't cross my mind ever. Like, it's just I'm at work, I'm doing work. So when he kind of said to me, dude, I watch your videos, I was like, whoa, it's kind of like 2 worlds merged together. And then he finally came down and I met him, and the dude's really cool, man. He's got his own squat rack at home and he squats and whatever. It's all really cool. He said to me, like, the moment I saw your Chuck Taylors, because I wear Chuck Taylors to work as well before these barbers. And he was like, man, that's sick, man. You actually work here, I didn't know. So that's just one story, I guess. Oh, Django, you met a dude at uni that knows me. That's cool, man. Yeah, so all of my colleagues, like all of the ED and people that are associated with ED, everyone kind of knows. Like this has been going on for a little while now, like almost 2 years, well 3 years. Really since, I want to say 2021, when the videos actually started getting some traction. When the videos started getting some traction, like the word spread, and like the ambulance officers often come up to me, like when I'm working at triage and working in the acute area or whatever. Like, Ivan, how's the videos going? How's the YouTube going? How's squatting going? So it's kind of well known from the people that kind of work with me. Like, it's not a secret at all. Everyone knows that I do this. Not that everyone watches. Like, this is the thing. Like, maybe a handful of guys actually watch, because who cares about squatting every day? Like, a lot of these guys don't even train or do anything physical. So yeah, like everyone knows that I do this sort of stuff, that I work with. And I've had other messages, like people, telling me, Ivan, man, like I wanted to come up and say hi, but you're busy running around. I came, to visit so-and-so, and I've had plenty of occasions like that. Kind of cool, man. But yeah, like, the whole fame thing, like I What time is it right now? Oh man, I think it's like 5, what is it? 5:15, I think it is. I can't see the time here. Yeah, no worries, Samuel King, Krug. Appreciate you, dude. That reminds me, man, I have to get on, see, man, I have to get on, what's the freaking app, man? My mind's stopped. What's that app? Forgot the app. Anyway, Samuel is on there as well. We share, all the Patreon guys are on there. I can't, it's escaped my mind. So the moment I saw Sam, I was like, oh yeah, I have to get on there. It's been so busy, man. We work recently. I make videos, I upload them, I train, and that's it now. I don't have much time for anything else. Discord, yeah, man, Discord. Jesus Christ, man. I've completely lost all time for Discord at this point. Ever since I've turned up the hours, since the interest rates, everything's kind of going up, I've turned up the hours at work, and you know, instead of doing 12 hours now, I'm doing 8-hour shifts, just like 5 days a week basically. I'm trying to do one, so you know, I have to do all these night shifts every month. So instead of doing 4 or 5 nights in a block, I'm doing one every week, and so usually I do 30 odd hours a week, but then you throw in that night shift every week. And that night shift basically takes 2 days because you got to sleep for it, and then you're gonna sleep after it. It completely ruins 2 days essentially. So yeah, I'm real busy, and the Discord thing, mate, it's been on my mind. Like I gotta do a Q&A, I gotta do all these different things. I just don't have the time. Like ever since turning up the hours, I don't have the time. Like maybe you guys haven't even noticed, but I'm much less frequenting the comments as well, and that also sucks. But there's just, you know, there's so little things, so little time that it's just impossible. Ms. 528, thanks, man. Thank you, dude. Thank you so much for the support, man. Age. Oh, look, man. Yeah, it's all routine, man. Like I squat every day. Like it's, you know, I don't even think about it really. You just come in and squat, man. The work, like I've been a nurse for a while now, man. Like you get used to it. It's just the thing. You just get used to everything, you know. It's not that crazy. When was the hospital scuffle? Recent? Oh, the hospital scuffle, the one I spoke about was Christmas. Not last Christmas, the Christmas before, with the whole brawl and whatever. I made a video about that a few videos ago, didn't I? I had my elbows got grazed up, my knees got grazed up. Didn't feel any of that really. But when the adrenaline's going and you think you're freaking fighting somebody, you know, you don't really feel any of that. But yeah, I had to actually book myself into ED for paperwork reasons, just in case of work cover and whatever, and I was fine. Like there was nothing wrong with it. It was just some grazes. It was all good. Do you trust the medical system? Well, that's a deep question, dude. I do, but I don't. There's a lot of crap going on in there, man. Without going too deep, man, there's a lot of funny business going on. Wherever you have money and profit, you have exploitation. Basically, that's how I look at it, man. Like, you're probably thinking about the whole corona vaccine and, you know, what they did, what they didn't do. Was it the right thing? Was it the wrong thing? I don't know, man. I've had COVID twice, and I had 3 jabs. I mean, without going deep into it, whatever. Like, you know, there's pros and cons on both sides of the argument. There's really smart people on both sides of the argument. It's really hard for, let's say, a layman to understand what's really going on, because you can't take one case study and extrapolate it all the whole world. There's freaking 8 billion people in the world, man. So just because you have, oh wow, Christopher, thank you, dude. I'll get back to your thought there. Just because you have an uncle or an auntie or somebody that's passed away from the vaccine, you know, side effect or reaction, whatever, that doesn't mean that it wasn't a good idea, right? Like if one person out of 1 million people suffers a fatal side effect, that's still a good move, you think about war. Think about how many people are sacrificed throughout history for the safety of the general population. How many people are sacrificed? Think about Chernobyl. Like a year ago, I watched that four-part series on Chernobyl. Those poor people that were digging underneath the damn freaking reactor, man. Like a lot of those guys didn't live full lives. A lot of them died of cancer, but it was work that had to be done. Had to be done, whatever the hell that means. But there's a lot of stuff like that. So like I get it. Like actually, we have a relative, my wife's cousin passed away, man. Like I think he was like early 30s. Wife and a child, and he passed away. He got COVID, went to hospital, he was fine, got discharged, came back a few days later, and basically he died that admission. So it's, anyway, I don't want to get too deep into that stuff. I've got a couple of things I gotta address here. Bert, man, thank you so much for the support. It means a lot. Really means a lot for me when I see support like that. Thank you, Bert. Christopher says, what do you think of just lifting for the sake of lifting with no interest in strength training, bodybuilding, or anything really? I did take it seriously in my 20s, but lost interest in min-maxing. Yeah, look, to me, what this reminds me of is basically, I played basketball once. I was in love. I was determined to make the NBA. Eventually, I realized it wasn't it. I didn't have it. Then I started kind of playing social basketball. Instead of playing club, high-level club, started playing social. So that's kind of what you're talking about. Like, what about just playing the sport without busting your balls over a freaking, milligram of progress? Yeah, you can do that. I mean, still, occasionally now I play basketball. I'm shit. I play basketball. For me, I think I need something in my life. You might have something different, but I need something in my life that gives me that kind of satisfaction, that competition, that plight, that struggle. Something in my life that's different to everything else, right? So I use this as that. Like, this is my NBA. Right now I'm freaking number 30 in the league, wooden spooning it every year, but every year I go into the draft thinking I'll pick up the next, LeBron James or Michael Jordan. That's how I think about it. Every day I kind of think, maybe I'll work out what the issue is, and I'll get better. That's how I look at it, man. That's what this is for me. But you can treat it however you want, man. There's no faults at all. Aryan says, Patel says, just returning a fraction of the wisdom and experience I learned from you in the past 2 years, watching it. Thank you, dude. I get so much love on these videos, Aryan, that I don't know, man. Like I often say to people, man, like, even when I had my kids, man, like, it took me a while to kind of like sink in what's happening. I don't think I don't know. I don't think I fully understand what YouTube is right now in my life. It's weird, man. I don't know. Like, until I go live, I don't really feel you guys even exist. It's really weird. But I get messages on Instagram, on YouTube. I get on Patreon, people like, chatting to me all the time, and I feel it. But it's kind of like, it's almost like, I don't know, it feels like a video game. Like, so it's like a computer, CPU freaking sending me messages. Weird that way, but I'm probably not explaining that correctly. But when I go live and I see the interaction, I'm like, wow, man. Yeah, the support is amazing. So it's always appreciated when I see it. I'm missing Max. Love you too, dude. Daniel Rodriguez, some good motivational. What do you do, boss? Jel pratiš Partizan u Euroligi? Ja ne pratim Partizan. I don't want to speak in Jugo, but I've got a brother-in-law who is a little bit older than me. He follows all the sports back home, man. Partizan, Crvena Zvezda, like all these guys. I hear from him that Partizan's doing really, really well. So I know Partizan's doing really well, so it's really cool. He said to me there was a player in Partizan that played in the NBA. I forget the guy's name now. Oh, he was that Aussie guy. What was his name? Damn. No, it's escaped me. Hello from Mexico. 2 a.m. in the morning. Thank you, dude. Appreciate it. Carlos, who are some YouTubers I watch? So YouTube for me has gone up and down, left, right, and center. It's changed million times over and over again. I'll go through periods where I watch some fitness YouTubers, then I get pissed off and I leave. It's the same thing with me. Like I watch these people and I'm like, it's great to learn from, but I always kind of come back to myself like, is this true? Like, you know, is this guy, you know, a lot of these guys jump on the juice or you know, say wrong things or look, I don't mind watching like Larry Wheels and these kinds of guys. Like, it's really cool. But it's almost like going into a strip club and watching strippers dance. It's great, man. What am I going to do now? Like, I'm all excited, I have to go home. Never understood that. Why the hell would you want to go to a strip club, sit there, get all freaking turned on, and then walk out? Like, might as well torture yourself. That's how I feel like when I watch some of these, you know, big guys moving like 5 plates in the bench press. It's like, it's a different world, man. Like, it's like something I'll never have, you know. So my YouTube experience, basically it's like this. I'll watch the NBA, that's my number one. When I turn on YouTube, I usually go watch the highlights. And right now it's the NBA, you know, playoffs, so I watch a lot of that. I watch JJ Redick. For some of you guys that watch the NBA, you'll know who JJ Redick is. He's got a podcast. Watch Draymond Green. Watch, you know, Stephen A. Smith, you know, Skip Bayless, you know, Shannon Sharp, all these guys. I watch them debate about basketball. That's kind of one thing. Then I sometimes get into soccer and I watch the UEFA, you know, talk shows, the Sky Sports. Some of those guys, Gary Neville and Cara and all those guys, I like watching that. It's usually like talking, debating. That's kind of what I enjoy most. And then, okay, let's talk fitness. Larry Wheels, yes, sometimes. Who have I always watched? Seeker Strength, I like them. I like that format. A couple of normal blokes without bullshit, sitting, talking, digesting, regurgitating, you know, brainstorming. I like that. Just no thrills. It's just like me, you, beer, cheers. Let's talk about, did you see that guy squat? Did you see that guy bench? Yeah, cool. No, I like that. I don't like the, you know, the vlogged up videos where the guys go like 3 chicks, ass out, boobs out, everything's out. There's a Ferrari here, a Lambo here. They drive to the gym. Oh yeah, let's do 16 plates. Cool, no worries. Just drive back in a Lambo. I'm too mature for that crap, dude. Like, I can't watch that. I can't watch that stuff. But a lot of the successful YouTubers tend to be like that, unfortunately. Just, I don't know. Alex Bromley, like that guy as well. I'm probably missing a whole lot of people, man. Omar Yusuf back in the day, I used to watch a lot of him. Elliot Holtz, if you guys remember, some of you guys probably not even born back then. Elliot Holtz is still around, but his content has completely changed. Learned a lot from him. The Hodge twins, if you guys remember the Hodge twins. The Hodge twins were, there's many more. I'm probably missing out on a lot. Actually, recently, what I've started watching, it's so weird how these things, I've reignited the car content for me. So I'm watching a few Aussie guys do up Ford Falcons, like put turbos in them or whatever. Small YouTubers, like nothing fancy. They just, you know, buy stuff on eBay and like strap these turbos and intercoolers and downpipes into cars. I've been kind of watching that recently. It's kind of cool, whatever. That's when I have time, when I'm not working and training. Simon S, thank you, dude. Thank you for the support. Simon says, this is exciting, bro. This live action is refreshing. Also, you talked a lot about Louis Simmons. How do you come across his content? How did you come? Yeah, man, Louis Simmons, man, talking about YouTube content, I have watched hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of hours of Louis Simmons. That man has probably taught me more than anybody. And I've opposed his arguments so many times. He's all about variation. I fell in love with lifting because of specificity in Bulgarians. Opposites. Yet he talks so much sense, man, so much sense. And even though I'm stubborn sometimes in my thinking, sometimes I go through like 6 months of training and look back and I'm like, Louis is right. Louis is right. Louis is right. It's all about the hamstrings and the glutes and the lower back. That's what strength is. Squats and deads are all about that. Why am I not doing that? Why am I not doing that? But this year I've kind of ran with my quads are weak, and I've ran that. And I've tried to stay away from Louis because Louis basically said squatting is about lower back, hamstrings, glutes. Even though he squats a lot different to me, I still probably agree with him like 95% of the time just on that statement. Squatting is mostly posterior chain. Anyway, but yeah, Louis is the man, absolutely the man. There's as many different approaches as there are people that, well said, Aussie man, well freaking said. Pick your poison. How do you want to do it? How do you want to do it? Medo Brundo. Pozdrav Ivane, kako su? Dobro, kako si ti, man? Medo Brundo. Yeah, man. LD. Yeah, I know. I haven't done one of these in a long freaking time, man. Oh. Damn, I'm stiff. Daniel, what did you say? I missed you. What did you say there? I've been jumping with my top end sets 275 because you raged, but jumping on a nerve wracking. Yeah, man, jumping is, I have not done jumping since this deload, whatever. I don't do blocks, but I've stayed away from jumping a little bit, tried some different things. But when I decide to ramp up and when I decide to go back to heavy ass weight, for me, I will definitely go back to the to jumping. Jumping to me is solidified. The effect has been crazy. Jumping is probably one of the biggest reasons I think for the 31 days of hitting 200. Jumping is goated in my mind. Until I'm proven otherwise, jumping is great. So continue doing that if it feels good. Wakes the nervous system up, makes the hips, ready for what the hell is coming, and it's a really good idea to do it. Now, you guys probably can't even see me anymore. Let me turn these lights on. One sec, guys. Oh. Now this light flickers, and then turns on. Is it going to turn on now? Come on, turn on. Here we go. Alright, let me get a set here. Oof. A lot of you guys are wondering, how do I do it? I just walk up to the bar, man. So since stopping the jumping, I've tried a few different things to kind of warm up. Jumping was a great warm up. But now that I'm not jumping, I just come in and I pick the bar up and I do the bar for like a bunch of sets of 10. That's it. That's my warm up. And after 5 sets, I'm ready. So that's exactly what I'll do now. Actually, I'd love to show you my my training journal. In the last few pages, on top of each page, I write fucking warm up, big bold letters. You do 5 sets of 10, 5 sets of 20 with an empty bar, you're ready. So many times, man, I'd come in, I'd just freaking do 1 set of 10, then 60, then 100, 120, 140, 160. But at the end of the session, I've done like freaking 20 reps. It's like total. It's not enough, man. Warm up. Mish, wow, since day 60. Respect, man. Appreciate you, Andreas. Appreciate you guys. Oh man. 100 of you guys now. Damn. What do you think about natural hypertrophy video on you? Oh look man, I watched it. You're the first person to have a go. To be honest with you, I didn't even understand what do you call me? Black pill? Blue pill, red pill, black pill or something. I don't know the terminology, man. Called me basically I'm giving up. I'm selling hopelessness or something like that. Look, man. Each to their own. Each to their own. Look, what can I say? I can't make everyone like me. I thought it was a little bit harsh. Look, I don't agree with his assessment of me. I got the feeling that he doesn't know me well when I was watching the video. I got the feeling that he hasn't heard enough of my philosophy to understand where I come from. Yet he made the video criticizing me. So it's kind of like, then again, like how many people really do know me? You know, my cameraman knows me, and my intimate circle basically. But yeah, whatever. Like that's his perspective. He saw that video and he thought he made him feel a certain way, and that was it. And I was like, cool, no worries. Let me see this perspective. There's been other videos where I've seen where guys have attacked me and all this sort of stuff. Look, man, people interpret all sorts of things differently. You know, you interpret however you want it, man. Like it's up to you. Like there's many different ways to live. You think you go the line where you want to go, and that's it. You know, I've been on earth for quite a while now. You know, I'm 34. I'm well placed in life, and I'm very comfortable in my skin, and I really mean what I say. And if people disagree, that's fine, man. Absolutely. There's a lot of people that I disagree with, and so no hard feelings towards him. You know, it is what it is. If he thinks that I am making content to make people hopeless, or to make people feel like this is not possible, or to make people feel like that everyone that looks good is on drugs, I don't know where he got that idea from, but I don't know. All I've ever said to you guys is train every single day, and get after it every single day. Rain, hail, or shine, train every day. Somebody passes away in your family, you're going through a breakup, the boss pissed you off, train every day. How you interpret that, it's up to you. And for somebody to say that I'm propagating helplessness and defeatist mentality, I don't know how I'm saying that if I'm telling you to get off the couch. Victor, so, well, it's like this. Like I've had my close friends watch that video, like cameraman for instance, and we both concluded that he doesn't know me well. Like he doesn't know who I am. And if he's consumed enough of my content, he'll know where I stand, and you know what a fan of Stoicism I am, what a fan of philosophy I am, my background, where I've come from. if he thinks that I'm trying to sell hopelessness, I don't know how somebody can have the mentality of hopelessness and sweat every day and do what I do on a daily basis and get surrounded by patients that I do get surrounded by and experiences that I go through. I don't know how you can go through all of that and have hopelessness in your life. So, I mean, listen, like, you know, like I say, like I've had lots of people message me on Instagram, people with, not lots, I've had some people message me with followings, basically calling me all sorts of names, telling me I should stop, that I'm gonna get people injured out there, that I'm telling people false information, that I'm responsible for injuries out there, all these attacks. And I mean, I don't know what other, like I don't really know any other, like personally, I don't know any other creators out there, so I don't know what the normal existence of a content creator is. But I'm guessing a lot of guys out there get the same type of attacks. If you think I'm a negative influence on humanity, wow, man. What about some of the people out there who are telling you to take 1,000 milligrams of testosterone every single day? What do you think about those people? I don't know. Look, I don't know the guy personally. I don't know anything about him. I've watched a few of his videos. He seems like a deep thinker, and he's concluded my personality, my persona, I think in the wrong light, but there's always there. And absolutely, there's always be haters. Absolutely always be haters, man. That's exactly right. Well, the other thing I wanted to say on that topic, the reason there was no video, reply video or response video, I don't want to get into any of that stuff. I never get into any of that stuff. Back and forth, nah. I stay in my lane, I focus on my journey, I document my journey, I speak to the people that are, you know, along with my journey, and that is it. I don't want to put people down, I don't want to get into fights. I do realize that that's exactly what social media feeds on, drama, things like that, but I'm not a kid, man. I don't have time for that. I want to give people that are positive to me lots of energy, people that are negative to me no energy, and that's how I live my life. I have no problem with people disagreeing with me. In fact, that is exactly what you need for growth to happen on both sides. But when people start to accuse people of, you know, get personal and, you know, not for me. Not for me. Jammy 09. That's it, man. Getting after it every day. Oh. Yeah, I mean, look, I'll tell you something about Stoicism. I didn't really know anything about Stoicism until one of you guys, like back in the day, said, Ivan, have you read Marcus Aurelius? Have you read this philosopher, that philosopher? That's not where all of this came, like, to me. Stoicism, I guess, came naturally to me. Growing up where I grew up in the Civil War, fleeing, refugee, changing a million schools, coming to Australia, displacing this, learning a language. It's kind of like what I grew up with. You know, my parents telling me things. I guess they taught me Stoicism, and it wasn't until I started making these videos, the guys were like, "Oh, Marcus or Aurelius, what was it, Memento Mori? What was it?" You know, my thoughts and ideas about death and all of that. You know, when I started talking about these things, how I feel about them, I realized that great minds in the past have discussed this to great extent, to much deeper levels. You know, when I've watched videos about Stoicism, I'm like, watching it, I'm like, yes, 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 yes. I agree, I agree, I agree. This is me, this is me. It's like, I found a home, I found a discipline that perfectly describes me and my outlook to life. And it's a beautiful thing, like Stoicism. I don't know, I want to say this is how the Eastern Bloc people live, or the Eastern Europeans. But I think you would have a hard time growing up in hardship without Stoic minds. Like, how do you survive without being a Stoic? I think Stoicism for people that are spoon-fed, who are in, you know, upper class suburbs, maybe that's where Stoicism is a difficult sell. But for people that grew up in shit, like, Stoicism is life. Like, there's nothing to it, man. Like, what else is there other than Stoicism? You know what I mean? Was the video component a motivator factor to go as long as? Not at all, dude. You know, I did 377 days. So on day 377, the squat every day, 377, was the first time I developed a following, basically. Before then, I would get like 3-4 views on the videos. Some of those were mine, you know, looking back through the video to see how it went. I've said this story many times. On day 377, it was a 10-second video. I uploaded it like any other thing. I was expecting 3-4 views. If it goes really viral, 10, you know. Freaking woke up the next morning, I had 50,000 views on there. And that was the birth of the channel in a way, even though the channel was running for more than a year at that point. That kind of put me on the map for whatever reason. I don't know what happened, but 50,000 views on a video that was a short and freaking nothing to it, no editing at all. And then I started gathering, you know, more and more eyes on the channel, and be like, oh wow, this is a cool streak. And that's when I started making a bit more effort into the channel, and that's how it happened. For me, like I said in the past, like, to me the whole YouTube thing is kind of like, still my main motivator for me is documentation. I just want to be able to like go back in time and, you know, and study my progress, and have like a progression where I can refer to, okay, this was the time that everything took off. That's my biggest motivator, like, you know, developing my mind, my soul, and the act of actually, you know, doing these videos. And this is what people don't understand, it's not obvious. This is a journal for me. I've never written a journal, I've never kept a journal, I'm not that, but like every time I sit down and I talk to you guys, you guys are my counselors. You guys are my psychologists. I sit here and I vent all my thoughts, and I come into the house, going to the shower, and I feel light. I feel freaking light, man. It's weird, man. It's like I stumbled upon a freaking therapist with this. This is what this is for me. See you later, Django. Yeah, I did hear Giannis's a bit spiel about failure. You know, I watched the game live and I watched the interview live. Initially, my response to that was, he's wrong. In the sense that if there is success, there must be failure. You can't have an existence of good without the existence of bad. There needs to be polar opposites. So success, we celebrate the championship. Giannis winning the ring, success. But when Giannis doesn't win a ring, then it's not failure. Well, what is it then? I understand where he comes from in the sense that it's all a journey. It is all a journey, and I've said that many times before. But some teams go into the season, like let's say, so Milwaukee for me, I picked them to win the whole thing. They go bounce in the first round, barely won one game. So that for me is a failure because they were projected to win the whole thing. They finished the best record in the league. Them getting bounced in the first round, that is a failure. That's a failure. But a team like OKC finishing where they finished, that was a success for them because they were not projected to do what they did. So for me, OKC had a better season than Milwaukee purely because OKC is a whole bunch of young guys. You know, they're not supposed to be where they were in the play-in. They got to the play-in. Success. Milwaukee failure because they were expected to do a certain thing. Now I understand where he comes from, that it's all, you know, it's like a step thing. My thing is like, so, you know, Orlando Magic, you know, did they fail? It's what were they projected to do? Like if you sit down and you talk to all of those coaches who are in Orlando, did they expect to win the championship? Hell no. Hell no. They can't win the championship. They don't have it. But Milwaukee, you know, Denver, Boston, I mean the Lakers since the trade deadline. Who else is really good? I thought Miami was going to have a better year. They snuck into the playoffs and they're doing really well now. Who else? I mean, the Memphis Grizzlies, you know, they got decimated with injuries. Like, you know, key components of their team got injured. So that's kind of failure, but not in their doing in a way. So to me, like Giannis is kind of like, yeah, man, like you missed 50% of your free throws. That's a failure, dude. You can't tell me that's not a failure. I remember you a couple of years ago when you won the ring, you hit like 20 out of 22. So like, don't be scared of the word failure. Identify it, look into it, man up to it. You failed, man. You missed so many free throws. You failed your free throws. Fail. Let that sink in. Go work now. Giannis to me is the best player in the world if he can, but when he shoots 40% from the line, 30% from the line, he's not. Because he's like Shaq, just fouling. He was there throwing the ball out, you know, in fear of getting fouled. So to me, if you celebrate success, you have to be present and take it to the chest when you fail. Don't run away and be like, oh no, it was a building process. No, it wasn't. You failed. Victor, let me get back to you, man. Let me just hit a set here. Victor says, what would the best advice to your son about women, like how to find one and keep her? I'll tell you a bit of a story about me and my wife. So I met my wife when I was 19. She was 19. We were born in the same year. Met her at a club. It was actually a Serb night here in Adelaide. Basically, you know, the community, you know, somebody rents out a night, Serbian music, that kind of thing. Anyway, I met her there. I had girlfriends before, you know, saw her, in my mind, man, I'm like 19, I'm like trying to get married. And the way I kind of thought back in the day was, I don't want to meet a Serbian girl, I don't want to mess around with a Serbian girl because the community's small, I don't want to mess around with a Serbian girl, I want to have fun. I'm not ready for marriage. But I liked her. So we started seeing each other. And within like a year, whatever, I'm 19, I'm 20, you know, I want to see other girls, like I'm doing this, I'm doing that, like I'm not settled, I'm not ready for marriage. So then obviously we started arguing about all sorts of different issues like this, you know, security, you know, type things, insecurities, you know, that type of stuff. We ended up breaking up. When I broke up with her, ran around, you know, messed around with other girls or whatever, did that. And then, I've said this story many times before. Not on the channel though, this is the first time I'm telling you guys about this. I was at a club with my boys and we were in a section of the club. We used to kind of go all the time. It used to be heaven for people there in Adelaide, heaven. On Djuric Street. So we were on the top floor, chilling out with my boys, and like the entrance to the top floor with the stairs are, it's all lit up, so you can see who's coming up. So this one day, I was with the boys Saturday night, whatever, you know, got beers in us, whatever, messing around. And I see her walk up with her crew, you know, the girls, a couple of the girls and the boys, you know, it's kind of Serbian group. I had not spoken to her for a year, cold turkey, break up, that's it, like I'm done. She walks up and I'm looking at her and I'm like, shit man, that's her. Automatically. I could feel my pulse running through my neck. Just raw emotion coming through me. It was a surprise to feel that way. Didn't expect it. You know, I've been with other girls at that point, whatever. I don't care. You know, I'll hook up with better girls, like all those kind of thoughts. Because her crew knew my crew. So her crew kind of gravitated towards us to say hi, you know, kiss, you know, hey man, what's up, what's going on, blah, 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 blah. They go through and finally she's in the kind of like lineup of people saying hi to people. So I say hi to her, she said hi to me, and then we kind of just like kept away. I turned to my boys, to the two fellas that I was out with, and I said, we better leave this area, because if I see her hook up with another guy, it's on. Like I just felt aggressive, I felt all these emotions. At that point I knew I loved her. At that point I knew that this wasn't just normal. Like if I didn't care about her, I wouldn't care. But I cared. Anyway, we ended up leaving that club. My phone died. No battery. I get home like 6 a.m. in the morning, plug it in, and there's a message from her. And I was like, couldn't freaking open up the message quick enough. Open up the message and she writes, nice bum. You know, awesome emotions. I smile, I giggle to myself, all warm feelings, like I'm getting attention from her, you know, really cool. And because I didn't reply to her, and then we left the club, you know, she sends a message like 30 minutes later saying, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done that. Clearly you moved on. And then, you know, I started messaging at 6 a.m. She replied, and that's how we started up again, and here we are now with 2 kids. So when you're 19, when you're 20, you don't really know what love is. You don't really know who's for you. You don't really know. You think you're the shit. You think you're going to go in the NBA. You think you're going to be the CEO. You think you're going to have a PhD. You think you're going to have the best car, the best house, the best woman, the best kids. That's the brain of 19, 20. You think you're something. You think you're better than you are. And you don't understand emotions and feelings. But eventually, like I always say to you guys, follow your gut. Follow your gut. And in that instance, I followed my gut. My gut drew me to her. Something felt right about her, even though in my mind I was like, you can't go back to your ex or whatever. We rekindled, worked out our differences. We were a little bit older. You know, we had arguments, obviously, like everyone does. But we worked it out. We stuck with it. There's been some, you know, lots of arguments, but we grew up together. You have to understand, we were together since we were like, when we got back together, what was I? Just before I turned 23. So, you know, we grew up together. I'm 34 now, so we've been together for a long, long time. And I think now it's even harder as the world moves on because of social media, because there's less physical contact with people. It's all like online. So to get back to your question, what would I tell my son? Follow your heart. And that sucks because I don't know, what does that even mean? That's kind of like, you know, how do you get stronger? Do I do back squat or front squat? Well, it depends. It's one of those answers where it's like it's not a direct thing, but I really think you when you're young, you have to have fun, you have to experience, and then you have to follow your heart. You know, I've been with girls before her, and now that I'm with her, I always say to her and everyone around me, that little break that we had for a year is the best thing that happened to us, because I know what it feels like to live life without her. And so for me, it's kind of like, I would never consider another girl, I would never consider cheating, I would never consider an affair, I would never consider any of these things, because I remember how I felt when I saw her walk up those stairs some 11 years ago. I remember that feeling, and I remember that was supposed to be, and that's, I followed my heart. And so do I want to put myself in a situation again where I'm in a situation that she's in the hands of another man? Potentially. Like at that club, I said to my boys, man, if you don't leave this club and she touches a man, it's fucking on. It's like, you know, it's on. So I had to leave. You love that girl. If that's how you feel, there's something still there. That's how I felt. Now, each situation is different. But if you're in tune with your soul and your heart, I think the heart is not simply as shallow as some people think. I always say that the heart, the gut feeling is God. There's external forces that we can't define with science. So I'm kind of more spiritual like that. So I kind of felt like the universe was telling me that she's your woman. This is the one you're going to start a family with. This is gonna, you know, the woman you're going to have kids with. And so, you know, no matter what, I always thought this was it. And from her perspective as well, there's things happening in her life, you know, and she was basically saying to herself, don't go back to him, don't go back to him, he's immature, he's going to chase other girls, all this sort of stuff. You know, it worked out, you know. Luck goes into it, don't get me wrong, luck goes into it. But also, you make your luck in a way. It's interesting. Oh my God, it's weak. Oh, thank you, Adam. I'm glad you found it useful. Everyone's story is different. Everyone's different. But the more stories you hear, the more you kind of know where you stand. It's like anything, man. Do I compete in Olympic lifting? No, man. Nothing like that. Never competed in anything other than basketball, man. This is just being me in my garage, chilling out. And trying to get better. Oh, man. Oh, damn bug. What the hell was that? Probably the only one of the few lifters that go hard on water. I do drink water, man. But every time I do live, I don't know. I never show me drinking water, if that makes sense. I never show it. I haven't tried Zerches, no. The only cue I think about is keep your back flat, keep your back flat, keep your back flat. Straight back, straight back. Oh, that's all I think about, man, honestly. Nothing else crosses my mind, basically. A different view. Do I have a strict diet? No, man. Oh, we eat a... Oh, man, my voice is giving up now. We have a pretty good diet at home, but it's not bodybuilder's diet or anything like that. Hey, man. Alright, fellas, that's it for me. I said to my wife and my kids I was going to be out here for 30 minutes. Here we are, it's been an hour. I'm going to head back inside and play Skyrim with my little boy. He's already there playing it, running around, picking flowers. He loves Skyrim just as me, just as much as me. Anyway, guys, it's been a pleasure. I'm gonna head back inside, quick shower, and chill out with the fam. Thanks for stopping by. It's really, really cool to do these. I'll try and do more of them. Cheers, guys. Catch ya. Now, how do I turn this thing off? I've forgotten. What button do I hit? Oh, I don't know. Is that one?